Why doesn't Beast Boy like turning into a sheep anymore?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
I've already messed this up. Let's try this again.
All right, start over.
Why does Beast Boy not like turning into a lamb?
Okay.
Because he keeps falling a sheep.
Oh.
This is supposed to be the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, and it's off to a bang tonight. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who is celebrating and to anyone who has a mother.
Yeah.
Or had one. So there you go.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to you. So, how are you, Signature King?
Good. So
Everything is good in the kingdom?
everything's wonderful. Spent a little too much time outside this weekend.
Yeah.
Got a little too much sun.
The hot dogs weren't the only thing roasting, huh?
Definitely didn't do any dogs, but let me tell you what, I was definitely felt like I was on the grill. Too
I
much
hear
sun.
You. Yeah.
I was gonna die.
Yeah.
I was washing some solar panels, so.
Oh, okay.
On the roof.
Yeah, nice. Well, let's say hello to some live chatters who have joined us, starting with John's Comics with Kids. John had, I know you were there, Signature King. He had his big 3K celebration this past Friday night. So,
cheers to another 3.
Yeah,
Mr. John, appreciate it.
Oh, I forgot my water. That's what I knew. I was forgetting something. Forgot the water.
Never go anywhere without my water.
Yeah. Hi, Kenneth Bird. Hope you're doing well. And White Tiger Cool, Calm, Collected, Muabunga to you. So, if you're watching on the rewind, thank you as well for stopping by. So, Signature King, and anything you want to talk about your week before we get into DC Comics news?
Yeah. Gosh, there was a couple things, but I don't think that I'm ready. That's a good question. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot. But news-wise, did you have anything you want to talk about first before we get the news?
I got a few things, but if you want to kick off, I'm good with that.
Yeah, so we jump into DC Lanterns HBO series. So we already know some cast people, and we know who they're playing. Okay. One of the villains that they've talked about, we've already cast Sinestro, and the name of the actor escapes me. I cannot figure out or remember his name. But back in April, they said they cast Ben Paul Victor. And they weren't sure. I mean, they didn't tell us what role he was playing. They said all he was playing was an extraterrestrial villain bent on rage. Which to me, and I think it was speculated that he was playing Sinestro, which makes sense to me. That sounds something like Sinestro. And we have soft confirmation that he's playing Sinestro. Very soft confirmation. And what's the confirmation? His X account posted a picture of Atrocitus. I think he's just going to be the voice of Atrocitus. Atrocitus is huge, and I don't know how they're going to make him huge. So, soft confirmation, maybe. Maybe he's just, trolling us. But hey, I'll take it. I like that. I like the Lanterns. I'm excited for the show to move forward. I'm excited for it to come out. I'm gonna watch the heck out of it. Watch it religiously. I'm gonna talk about it with all my cool comic book friends. Bent on rage on the Atrocitus. Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, it does. So,
hello to our friend Tim, the comic collector.
Oh, he can watch, but he can't jump in.
I would love for Tim to come in.
I'm just kidding, Tim.
It's been a minute since Tim's been here.
It's been a hot minute. So, Tim, we're glad you're here.
Always glad you're here.
But that was the big news. Other than that, I didn't really see a whole lot of news on my end. But what do you got?
Well, should we talk about our project, Signature King?
Our project?
Yeah. We can talk about it without legal ramifications now.
Okay, go ahead.
So, my favorite character of all time.
Yep.
Your favorite character of all time.
Yep.
It has been officially announced, but before you get too excited, Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn are getting a graphic novel team up that's going to be in Italy only.
Here, I thought it was something good.
It's Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn, The Forbidden Gift. Urban Comics will be releasing this on September 6th of 2025. The story centers on Themyscira's turmoil as an Amazon's pregnancy and Harley Quinn's asylum requests collide. So if you're not familiar with Urban Comics, they kind of do French editions of major DC, Vertigo, and Image comic titles for the European market.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I was thinking it would be a Wonder Woman Shazam team up again. And I'm like, man, they're going to do it even better this time. No, man, you had me going for a minute. Had me going for a minute.
Yes. So I'm imagining either I'm going to be hitting up some of my overseas friends or I'm going to be looking on Evil Bay around that time because it is not a U.S. release.
I'll have to. Did you say Germany in those countries? I forget which countries you listed.
Italy.
Italy? Dang. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was going to say there's a really reliable Instagram seller in Germany that sells all foreign comics. I've dealt business with them before. We can talk offline about that, but that sounds exciting. You know, if you're into that, I'm not. No, I would not. No, I would not. I wouldn't go across the street for that issue.
But I need it in my collection.
I don't need it in my collection.
Yeah, but if I couldn't find it, you would have to go across the street. I
wouldn't. I'd be like, sorry.
What if that creator is coming to a con that you're going to be at?
That creator, I'm sure they've been to many cons that I've been. I would never do it.
Well, never. What are you going to get signed then?
Something else. Literally anything else. A napkin for all I care about. They'll sign a napkin. Heck, they can even sign my cool Chip and Dales. Oh,
I thought for a minute those were the strippers.
Yeah, they could sign some strippers.
Yep. Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League.
That seems like a good story.
That's going to be a brand new limited edition written by Greg Rutka and Nicola Scott doing the artwork. And that is going to be coming out this fall. That was just announced this past week. So that kind of surprises me. I didn't see that anywhere on my radar. First issue coming out August 6th of 2025.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a unique take, especially those two teaming up. I mean, that's not a team that I would foresee being together. And when they say rob, I mean, I wonder what they're robbing. I wonder what they're going to go after.
They're robbing the Justice League. I would guess their weapons arsenal, maybe.
Yeah, because they're definitely not going to go after Superman's money. You know what I mean? He doesn't have any. Are they going to go after? They could be going after artifacts.
That artwork looks pretty awesome. I think
it does look awesome. I'm excited for that. That's very cool.
Yeah. So that was announced this week. Little bit more surprised that I wasn't exactly expecting.
Yeah, that's a interesting take. Because I know that back in the day, who was it? Captain Cold, when he joined the Justice League briefly, he was like, "Holy cow, I'm gonna rob these people blind. I can't believe they just let me walk through the front door," kind of thing.
Yeah. So Cheetah. Sometimes she's good, sometimes she's bad. She's all over the place. So I guess she's back to being bad for this issue.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's a Wonder Woman enemy. Sometimes she's a Wonder Woman adversary. So.
Yeah, same thing with Cheshire. Sometimes she's neutral. But most of the time I feel like she's on the bad guy side, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll buy it though.
Absolutely. That would be interesting seeing some of those variants.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are going to be variants for it. So that's kind of the news that I saw.
Yeah, it was pretty slow news. I know we're getting closer to Superman, so I imagine some of the big news is coming out there.
Did you see that? I think it's been launched already. That Dairy Queen is having a Superman Blizzard, and he's on the cups and on the.
Oh.
I think it's already. I think it just launched.
Dang, there's a Dairy Queen near my house. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, go get you a Blizzard. They have a Superman Blizzard.
So in my house, I can't say the word Blizzard because my
Okay.
kids automatically know it's Dairy Queen. So
Okay.
it'll be like middle of summer, and I'll tell my wife, like, I think it's supposed to snow tonight. She'll be like, yeah. I heard we're gonna get a lot of snow. My kids are very confused.
So
yeah, I'll check that out. Maybe I can scoop one up this week.
yeah, very
Is
nice.
it just Superman, or they have other characters?
No, it's just Superman, just for the movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So I thought it was a touch too early, but then what do I know? I'm not in the marketing department for the film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got for news. That like I said, it's been pretty slow. So, yeah, I got nothing else.
Okay. Well, I guess already we're going to segue into our retro review. So, yeah, the film is July 11th. Thank you, Tim.
July 11th. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, for a retro review tonight, we were really looking to have a guest on the show, and we approached a few different people. And I think because of Mother's Day, timing wasn't working out for some folks. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted a guest because it would have been easier to have the guest pick the book that we're going to do tonight. But we didn't get a guest, and I'm picking the book for next week because there's a tie-in time-wise. So then I thought, I had this bright idea. I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Meta AI, and I'm going to tell Meta AI the characters that we either have recently done or are about to feature, and say I would prefer not to do these characters. Pick a DC Comics character for us. So I asked Meta AI to do that, and I didn't like the answer it gave me. So I said, try again. And I didn't like the answer it gave me then, not because these were bad people or bad choices. It's just that the characters they were picking, I think there's some people in the future that might be guests of ours that will want to do these characters or pick these characters. So I don't want to use up that turn. So finally I had enough of it. And I'm like, I need a character that doesn't get much attention, that's interesting. And I had it down between, I'll tell you who I had it down between. Jonah Hex and the one we're doing tonight, Johnny Thunder.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Gosh, wasn't there another cowboy other than Jonah Hex?
Yeah, there was a few, cowboy type, like Batlash. Batlash is not part of the Batman family.
He was in Justice League the Animated, or Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, and Vigilante, the original one. The original one that wore the yeah,
that cowboy bandana,
kerchief or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But we ended up with Johnny Thunder. What do you know about Johnny Thunder?
Nothing. I know nothing. So I had to go straight to the DC Comics Encyclopedia.
Did they know anything?
They did. So, well, by the way, of course, this Justice League Encyclopedia's got some signatures in it, so nice. Does everything. But yes, first appearance of Johnny Thunder. He debuted in Johnny Thunder Volume 1, Number 1, 1985. The current Johnny Thunder. Not this Johnny Thunder, because I think this book predates that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's all for that Johnny Thunder. Now, the Johnny Thunder that we're talking about debuted in Flash Comics Volume 1, Number 1 in 1940.
Yeah.
And he has the powers and ability, absolute control over wish-granting Thunderbolt Genie in reality. An energy being to employ science from the fifth dimension. So that's kind of cool. There's also Jakeem Thunder, who's a more recent version of it.
There was
Thunder
another
2.
version, a second version of Johnny Thunder that was a female, Jonni.
Yeah, and that's who this one is. The one I first talked about, Johnny Thunder.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess I should have made that clear. Female Johnny Thunder with an I, Johnny Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's there's been a few different Johnny Thunders. Jakeem, Johnny, and Thunder 2. Very cool. I don't think these characters get a whole lot of attention. So.
No, but they are tonight.
They are.
And if you don't mind pulling up the assist for my book, I'm going to give us the secret origin of Johnny Thunder. And, yep, Cei-U. Okay. And this was revised post-crisis. So there was a comic book, Secret Origins comic book. It would be devoted to two different characters. And in this issue, it's Nightwing and Johnny Thunder. So essentially they took his original origin from Flash Comics #1 in 1940 and kind of adapted it. And I'll kick us off so you know a little bit more about this character tonight. And it starts out with Johnny Thunder and his Thunderbolt breaking the fourth wall. So Johnny Thunder's pretty excited that he has his own secret origin story at last. And the Thunderbolt says, hey, if it weren't for me, he'd be lucky to get a job as a doorstop. And they're talking directly to the reader. And Thunderbolt says, hey, well, let's see now. Johnny was 25 years old in 1942. So let's back up a little to 1929. He goes, no. Let's go to 1918. Yes. So on a hot summer night in 1918, Simon Thunder comes home from his job as a clerk at a Case National Bank to find a police car parked outside his house, and his wife is in hysterics.
Sorry, my ad blocker does not like this site. So it's popping up ads that you probably are glad that you're not sharing. Let me see if I can find on the other one. Give me a second.
Okay.
Or if you want to keep going, it's up to you. So for the sake of your channel, I'm not going to use that site. Secret Origins. Oh, might help if I could spell. Right? Step 1. Let's see. Secret Origins. And what is this one? 13?
Yeah.
Boom. Secret Origins. What volume is this?
3 or 2, depending on who you ask, but it should be 3.
Should be 3. All right, I think this is it. Nope, that's an annual. Back up. Holy smokes. Okay. Secret Origins. What year did this come out?
86, I think. 87. 87.
87. So it's in this one. And we want...
Hey, Super Russ. Hope you're doing well.
Yes. Hope you're doing very well. Okay, here we go. 13 is right here. Yep, that's it. All right, I found it. Now I just got to get the right page. What page is it?
So it's the last story. So as I mentioned, Simon comes home. There's a police car outside his house. His wife is in hysterics. So his wife, Mildred, had her back turned, and their infant son, Johnny, had been stolen by gypsies, she claims. There was no ransom note, no calls forthcoming with information or a demand. And the police is kind of doubting her story. I mean, she faints. She seems to be a little bit over dramatic, and it is what it is. But it wasn't gypsies that stole little Johnny. It was a group of sinister citizens from an Oriental kingdom. And what they do is they dye little Johnny's hair and his skin to make everything appear darker and that he doesn't look like a U.S. citizen. And they take him to this priest. And as they walk in, they reclaim that this child was born at 7 a.m. on the 7th of July, the 7th month, 1917. And he had to be a male. Those were the requirements. And little Johnny fulfilled all of those requirements. So they dressed him in 7 emeralds of strength, taken from 7 great gates. And they laid him on this altar and pronounced over him 7 times the sacred word, Cei-U. And breaking the fourth wall again, they say, in English, it's pronounced like Cei-U, as you would already have noticed if you weren't reading a comic book. So they put this golden belt on him, something they call the Eternal Zone of the Zodiac, and the ceremony's over. They say when he turns 7 years old, he'll have the power to rule the world, which is always nice when you're looking for a place to park. And rule the world he will. Well, their enemies seem to find out that they have something that eventually is going to grant them power to rule the world. And they're obviously scared, so they start a war, and they end up winning it. So they don't want little Johnny to fall into the enemy's hands, so the priests had the woman who abducted him take him into hiding. So she does, and she takes him to a fishing village north of where they were, and she acts as his nurse, his jailer, until he was 5 years old. At that time, little Johnny chose to play in one of the boats along the beach, and he's going along, and this stiff breeze comes along and starts to blow him out well beyond the 12-mile limit, where he's spotted by an American freighter on the eastern seas, and he's taken off of the boat. So the commander realizes this kid, his hair's been dyed, his skin's been dyed, he's like an American kid, and he has to take him back to the U.S. So when they get back to the States in little old New York, where Johnny's originally from, he tells one of his crew members to take him to the police, to report what had happened. And fate intervenes once again. So as they get on a streetcar, this gentleman, who ends up being Johnny's father, recognizes him by a birthmark that's on his shoulder. So Simon recognizes him, and he says, "This just might be my son that was stolen." And they're shocked. And he goes back home. And come to find out, as a little bit of time passes, it is his son. And they get the dye out of his hair and his skin, and he says he's the spitting image of Simon. So the family's been reunited. The week of Johnny's 7th birthday, it rained buckets for 7 days, but not a drop ever touched the Thunder home. This was the indication that the child was still alive. And over in that temple where he was given the magic belt, and during the ceremony, they say, "We must find him. He's still alive because this is our sign with the 7 days of rain. If he does not come back on his own, you have to kill him so his power does not fall into the hands of our enemies." So they send a group to the U.S., and time passes. 16 years passes, as a matter of fact, and this group still hasn't found Johnny Thunder. And Johnny's looking for work, and he gets a job as a window washer, and he's high up there, and he needs a sponge because he forgot his. So he forgets the name of the guy who's sitting next to him, but he says, "Cei-U, I forgot your name, but do you have an extra sponge?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do. I'm Frank." And at that moment, Frank starts to fall because his strap protecting him breaks. But Johnny had said the word Cei-U unbeknownst to him, which conjures up the Thunderbolt, there to grant the first command, his first 2 commands. So Thunderbolt saves the man and protects him, but this is overseen by the men who are looking for Johnny Thunder, and they realize that this is the kid that they've spent 16 years looking for. And if they can't get him, they're going to have to fire him. Or they're going to have to kill him, I'm sorry. So in this break room inside, the thugs come after him. A huge battle ensues. Johnny's starting to make his way on out, starts to run out, and they're screaming, "Get him." And all of a sudden they see that he has the belt on, and that's even further confirmation that he says it's his lucky belt, but he doesn't know what it is. And he says, "Cei-U, you can't," he says, "Say, you can't have that, give it back." But Cei-U once again triggers the Thunderbolt. And he's surprised again that Thunderbolt's here, and he's like, "Go to it." And he's like, "Go to what? I only obey direct commands, And he says, "Well, I don't know how this works. Just take care of the guys, right this minute." And Thunderbolt does. and defeats him. And Johnny ends up getting fired for the entire situation because of all the commotion and the mess he made. So as he's walking out, the Thunderbolt, which is only visible to him, those two are having a conversation, and he says, well, what do I do, or how do I have this power over you? What do I have to say to get you, to conjure you? And he says, sorry, Master John, but I can't reveal that. You'll have to find it for yourself. He's like, well, will you at least give me a lift home? He's like, nope, you only get me for an hour at a time after you say it. And your hour just came up. And he's like, wonderful. He's like, I've got this terrific power. Now, if I only had a nickel for the subway token. And as the story ends, Thunderbolt says to the reader, don't worry, Master John, you'll put it all together someday. And he did, but that's another story, right? And that is the modified post-crisis origin of Johnny Thunder. So we've had some awesome people drop in here and say hi to us. Bobby is here, which is awesome. Bobby sent me an AOK, which is on my comic book editions video for this week right now. Great to have Glenn back. Seeking Superman is here. Thanks for being here. And John saying, yep, Golden Age, there wasn't a whole lot of
creativity.
Yeah.
Nope, that's
Cei-U.
for sure.
So that is my story that I'm covering tonight, kind of our modified origin of Johnny Thunder. What did you find?
So I went with Injustice Year Zero, issue 4.
Okay.
So this one, little story leading up to it. If you're not familiar with Injustice, Superman, something happens. I won't spoil it. He decides, you know what? That's it. I'm going to rule the world. And anyone who doesn't like it, you know, they're going to die. If you steal a candy bar, you're going to die. You start a war, you're going to die. He just starts killing people who commit crimes. There's no more prisons anymore. They just straight up kills people now. So there's the resistance, who are the opposite of that. They want to restore order. You know what I mean? They believe in due process, all that good jazz. They're trying to figure out a way to stop Superman. They don't know how. And they came across a potential way to beat Superman. So this is from the perspective of a different universe's Joker, and the current universe, I believe this is Earth 6, Harley Quinn. We start off here with them listening to the tales of someone who was in World War II in 1945. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better. Okay, that's probably as going to get. Excuse me. So yeah, he's okay. So let me tell you, this time, you know, when we were, you know, killing Nazis, and you know how I think this is going to defeat you. It's I forget the name of the artifact, but it's some kind of amulet. And as it turns out, this amulet is very powerful, and it can pretty much get anybody to do anything you want. And so we're in World War II. Big battle ensues. People are dying left and right. The boy commandos are, you know, they're stuck. They're getting shelled like crazy, losing lots of guys. You know, here we have, you know, our heroes. Here they come. We have Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Jay Garrick, Flash, Diana Drake, Black Canary, Charles McNider, Dr. Midnight, Inza Nelson, Dr. Fate, Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, Will Everett, Amazing Man, Jim Corrigan, the Spectre. So these are all slightly different versions of these particular characters. I believe in due process. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. So you definitely be on the resistance. So they say, hey, General, hey, we're here. You know, you gave orders, and you just led men to the slaughter. Like, what happened? You knew it was a trap. What did you do? Who gave you that order? And he's not saying anything. You know, his eyes start glowing red, and he's like, well, I guess we should probably have some fun. You know, Dr. Fate's like, hey, there's something wrong here. He's not himself. I feel the presence of two minds. we cut to the other side, and here we have an unknown Nazi general who with a slightly different Johnny Thunder, and he's some kind of war correspondent, and he's been granted some kind of it's in the previous couple stories. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but he's been granted a couple interviews on both sides. He's currently sitting behind the German enemy lines, and it turns out the amulet. He said, "Hey, I don't need Johnny Thunder. I need the genie. I need the YZ." And that's the day that Johnny Thunder was separated from the Thunderbolt. And they're talking about this epic battle between the Justice Society and the Thunderbolt, and it took a lot of lives, including some big lives. So obviously, Johnny Thunder he's removed from the Thunderbolt. He's dead. Lady Liberty Bell shows up. We have oh gosh, what is his name? Wildcat shows up, getting ready for this intense battle. And keep in mind, they're still trying to fight the Nazis at the same time, and everybody is taking a swing. They finally capture this general, and this particular Justice Society isn't real keen on taking prisoners. So the genie is very powerful. So at this point, Jay Garrick Flash has the amulet, and he's going to take off with it. And the general says to Hawkgirl, "Hey, I remember you. I shot down your flying boyfriend." So Hawkgirl, bam, he's dead. He's probably not going to be a problem anymore. So they make quick do of him, but the amulet quickly possesses Jay Garrick, and he can't put down the amulet. So the Spectre takes it from him, and he says, "I'll take it, and I'm going to end this war." And he's flying all the way. And here we have a cameo, and I don't want to say the name because the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it, but it is a leader of a certain opposition party during World War II, the bad guys. He flies all the way to him. We assume that he's dead. We don't know. But the Spectre comes back, and he's completely been removed from the Spectre. Jim Corrigan is not the Spectre anymore. So not Jay Garrick. The Green Lantern takes the amulet, puts it in a box, and carries it in a bubble so he can't be tempted by it, kind of like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing. So, and then we cut back to the Justice Society headquarters, and the Green Lantern is telling Dr. Midnight, "I buried it in the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, 36,000 feet down from the surface." And finally that Joker and Harley figure out that that's where we got to go. And I like the what the Joker says here. Harley, fetch my swimsuit. He's going underwater. You need that swimsuit. They're journeying to the bottom of the sea. And a little teaser for the next issue is called Black Manta. And it's a good story. I highly recommend those of you who have not seen it, please do so. It is very interesting, to say the least. So, and that's where he left off. So Johnny Thunder was unknowingly the big bad in this story, and the genie ended up killing a lot of people and a lot of heroes. So that just goes to show how powerful the genie is.
Yeah. Thunderbolt, yeah. Cool. Well, there we go.
Yeah, it was unique. A character, like I said, I don't really know about. I knew of, but I can't say that we really talk about him, especially on this show.
Hey, Hoarder's Hide, how you doing? You just missed it, Hoarder's Hide. We showed Spectre a few moments ago.
I'm a big Spectre guy, so.
Yeah, Spectre, I just met her.
Yeah, right?
Nice. So that's going to take us over to our book show and channel update. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. So, book show tonight. This was if you recall, we had Superman Day not long ago. And I've been looking at some of those covers. My LCS didn't get a whole lot. And I was like, man, I really like some of these. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to jump on eBay and pick a few up. So I did pick this one up, and it is the Superman Day, one of the foil covers.
Oh, nice.
It's very foily, very Superman-y.
Yep.
And I believe Dan Slott and Mark Waid both have stories in here. Both, I believe, are going to be at Comic-Con, so I'm going to get.
So there's multiple stories in the
yes.
book? Okay.
There's multiple stories in here. Who knows? Maybe we'll review some sometime. But yeah, this is a cool little book. As for what's coming up on the channel, I don't know. But if you haven't, check out my channel because we have quite a bit of slabs that we went through recently. So just here's one off the top. We have Superboy Plus, The Power of Shazam, signed by Ron Mars. I know Tim's a big Ron Mars guy, but yeah, I think we have 30 total books, and I broke that down into 3 episodes of 10.
Yeah.
So check it out. There's a lot of good ones in there. Surprisingly, a lot of 9.8s. I think
That's
I had
awesome. Congratulations.
17 9.8s out of 30. So
that's great.
Over half. So I'm very much looking forward to submitting that again. Also coming up on the channel, slot autograph. Hey, anytime, pal. Anytime. Let me know. I'll happy to facilitate. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yes, coming up on the channel, other than stuff like that, we got shorts. I have 2 really big books coming from CBCS. I'm teasing it early. It's probably going to be a little while yet. I'm very excited to get those back. Both are absolutely fantastic books.
It's great.
So stay tuned for more, for sure.
Awesome. So over on the Magic Lasso channel, what is on there already is my comic book editions video, which is an AOK unboxing from Bobby Delgado, which I'm just going to tease it. There's some original art in there.
Oh, wow.
Saying. So
Pretty
check
cool.
that out. That was such a, wasn't expecting anything and a nice surprise that came in. So that's on the channel right now. There's also a Justice League of America, actually the JLA Detroit team, back issue of the week that's currently on my channel too. So look for that coming up. Tomorrow morning, another back issue of the week will be dropping. It will be Marvel focused for tomorrow. And then Tuesday's video, Unknown Comic Books did like this massive sale starting at like the end of March through April, where there were all these incentive variants and some exclusive covers that they were selling some of these things for less than the original cover price. So I bought a good haul off of there, and that's what I'm going to show in Tuesday's video. So look for that. As for a book show, this is more Thunderbolt oriented than it is Johnny Thunder, but the two kind of, go hand in hand. Here's one with a Thunderbolt gone berserk.
Very cool.
And this is Justice League of America number 219. We had actually retro reviewed this years ago because it's a retelling of Black Canary's origin. And here's the next issue with Thunderbolt on there too.
That's cool.
So I thought I'd feature that as my book show tonight. And if you would like to share a cover with us on Instagram, go ahead and do so. Just use the hashtag Fanboys Live and the retro review. And you can share, if you have some Johnny Thunder or Thunderbolt or JSA or pretty much anything you want to share with us, DC, use that hashtag and we'll make sure to virtually welcome you to the book show portion. There are links in the description for this video for Signature King's channel if you're not subscribed, as well as other fanboys as well. Sub everyone up that's in the chat. So next week, I'm going to go ahead and say what we're going to do for the retro review next week. Obviously, I'm going to be pretty excited for next week's. The Pele Center. We talked about this recently in DC Comics News, but the Pele Center in New York is honoring the Linda Carter Wonder Woman TV show for its 50th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And that's happening next Monday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. So next Sunday, we're going to do a Wonder Woman 77 review. So there's like Batman 66, Superman 78. Well, there's Wonder Woman 77. And that's supposed to be like, had the Wonder Woman TV show had another season, like untold stories, untold episodes.
That's cool.
So that's what we're going to do for the retro review. And I will say, we're going to do one issue that has like 3 little mini stories broken up into one. So if there's someone that's a huge Wonder Woman TV show fan that would like to guest and just do one of those retro reviews with us next Sunday, just reach out to me or Tony on Instagram too. And first come, first serve. And if anyone's free next Sunday, it would be great to have you on the show.
Yeah. Come to think of it, do I know anybody who's a big fan of that show? And I think you're like high on the list. I think
I'm already on the show next week, so
exactly. So you can't guess. Yeah. But I didn't. I mean, I've seen those issues. I've never picked any of them up, but I didn't know that it was like supposed to be a continuation if the show had another season.
Yeah,
that's pretty. That's cool.
What it's. I mean, it's very loosely based, but they use characters and refer to things that happened on the TV show too. Because there's some stuff that happened on the TV show that didn't happen in the comic books. Very cool. That's what it is. So, and nice. That's what we're going to do next week for the retro review, which of course I will be psyched for. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a casting call for a guest.
Yep. It sounds
Someone
good.
wants to cameo. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Dr. Thunder. Oh, okay. Very cool.
Nice.
Dr. Thunder. Cool. Very interesting. Always like little tidbits of knowledge.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, that brings an end to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. It was a short show tonight, but we had fun nonetheless. We hope you have a happy, healthy, and successful week. We look forward to visiting with you next week. Until then, take care. Good night.